Hello again. So, just thought, having looked at that video that I've done already, a bit more of an introduction is needed because why on earth does anybody want to listen to me talking about mental health? What have I got to talk about that other people haven't? Well, I've had a wide and varied life, and all sorts has gone on in it. So I think I've got a broad experience of what it's all about. Anyway, early life, my childhood wasn't great. My mum and I didn't get on very well. We struggled in our relationship. She worked hard and she played hard, and she had her own issues that she was dealing with. Obviously, I wasn't aware of them at the time, but as years have gone by, I've realised that she was dealing with all sorts of stuff herself. So there wasn't a great deal of time for me. My dad, he had another family, and again, he was busy doing stuff with them, and there wasn't a great deal of time for me. But my dad wasn't that kind of guy anyway. You know, he wasn't a man's man. He was he just wasn't a man's man anyway. So school, that was crazy. Didn't do well at school. All sorts of trouble at school, as you can imagine. You know, family life wasn't great. I was one of those who just wanted to cause as much grief as possible and have a laugh while I was doing it. Class clown, idiot, whatever. Come out of school with 1 O-level in art. Went into the world of work and bounced from job to job. When I get bored, go and get another one. Back in the day, back in the 80s, you could do that, you know. Had no real skills as such, other than I worked hard, grafted. I liked having money in my pocket, and I always did. So I've been to jail, got into trouble when I was 18. Did a few months in Armley, Thorpe Arch, and Everthorpe, and so I've got a bit of experience of all that. Into drugs, did all the raving and all that malarkey, but I was smoking weed from a ridiculously early age. I was 14 when I had my first joint, and when I had that first joint, I didn't know anybody else who'd had one. I ended up with a crowd who were much older, and so got into the drugs. Then it was acid house days, late 80s, then into the rave culture of the early to mid 90s, and I didn't really quit all that until late 90s, and then I still dabbled occasionally, messing around with ease and amphetamine, just on nights out. It just became a normal thing. Anyway, it's not a good thing. There's issues with that, obviously, you know. I did, however, end up going to university in 1994 to 97. I went and did a college course because I was bored in the daytime. I was knocking out bits and bobs in the evenings, but the daytimes were boring, so I ended up going to college just for something to do, and by sheer accident I ended up at university doing applied social sciences, and I ended up coming out of that with a 2-1, so I proved to myself that I wasn't thick after all. Then I worked in social care, working in hostels with alcoholics, addicts, and all the vast array of issues that people bring when the homelessness comes as a package with all sorts of issues. You don't just end up being without a house. Simple as that, you know. It doesn't take a lot of thinking about. So there was all sorts of issues that we were dealing with there. I worked in a secure unit for troubled kids, and all through that time I was lurching from crisis to crisis, one major fucking meltdown to another, and God knows how I kept my head above water, but I've always been a survivor. So I've always been looking for answers to my depression, to my anxiety, to all the things that go on in my head that don't make sense. And I've got to tell you that I've recently, within the last year, discovered all sorts of very interesting techniques and methods and ideas about staying positive, about dealing with mental health and so on. And I'm ready to share them with anybody who wants to listen.